I've always known since I was a child that I needed to live in a certain place. Sometimes you just know. You
Yeah.
have that knowing. And I feel like sometimes we're just born in places that our parents had us, So it's like, why not take that leap? Like you said, and it could just be a year, it could just be 2 years, it could just be whatever. But it's like, if you never try, like, you will never know, and you'll have that regret.
That's a fact. And I think my biggest fear in life was always being, I don't know what it is about this age. You'll probably hear me say this like time and time again on the internet, but I'm like, my biggest fear was always being 81, looking back and being like, damn, I really should have tried to just live somewhere else. I really didn't go nowhere.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode this week. So I am so happy to be sitting down with my girl, Nichelle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
So excited.
I love how this worked out, like you being in Jersey.
No, literally, Marissa reached out and was like, so we have to do this. I'm like, yeah, for sure. She's like, when are you home? I'm like, in about a month. She's like, all right, bet. We're going to just sit down and do this. I'm like, yeah. When I walked in, I'm like, this day came so quick. I'm like,
did.
Whatever. But hi, Nichelle here. What's up?
Yes. Can you tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yeah. Let me pull out the scroll. So yeah, my name is Nichelle, Ohshells on all social media, Ohshells. I am a digital creator, all things beauty and lifestyle content. I'm also a mindset creator, i.e., I speak a lot about mindset, confidence, self-development, etc. I just launched my own podcast called Nicheful Thinking, available on Apple and Spotify right now. But yeah, I'm just like a really great time. So digital creator is like the main thing, but I also have a long career in HR. So I'm an HR specialist. I've been a tech recruiter, a little corporate, it's like a little double life kind of thing. But yeah, I'm just like a child of God. I'm an elite being and I'm happy to be here.
Period. We love a multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate, just Renaissance woman, like doing all the things.
Thank you.
I love it. So first of all, congrats on your podcast.
Thank you.
How's that been going for you?
Yeah, it's been going really good. It's funny because I launched 11/11. I've been thinking about podcasting for a few years now. I've had podcasts in the past with other like co-hosts, and this year I was kind of like, you know what? Let me just like do this. And it was like, what is my podcast going to be about? All the things that you go through before you're like, here it is for the world. How do I say it? Like when you like birth it, It's like, I'm the mama. I had like a clip on TikTok talking about that. I'm like, I literally am like the mother of this little infant. That's how it feels. She's just a little baby, but yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Again, Nicheful thinking. So it's like everything that I would talk to my friends about, the random advice I would give, the things I'm like, wait a minute, have these epiphanies. And I'm like, I need to share this. Like, I need to literally put this out there. So it's been really, really great. Not only to, as a creator, it's like you always want something you look forward to and that you're like working on and building on. It kind of gives us a bit more juice. But it's also good for me because I feel like it's almost like a digital journal, if you will. All the things that I would put in my journal and be all like, ooh, this is good, like poetry, baby. Like, it's like now I'm giving that out into the world and allowing people to resonate with what they resonate with. So it's a little bit of that nerve feeling, but super fun.
Really, I love that. It should be fun. Like, whenever people ask me about like starting a podcast or like, hey, should I do, like, what should I talk about? Like, should I start? It's like, do it because you want to do it. Like, do it. Don't do it because you see everybody else doing it or because you think there's mad money in it. Like, do it because you genuinely have like something that you want to talk about, or you just want to talk. Like you said, it is kind of like a diary.
It is like a diary. And I feel like content, anything creative wise, you're a dancer, you understand as well, where it's like the more you give yourself to that thing and the more out of the way you become, where you're like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna do exactly what's in my feelings. I'm not gonna try to funnel it too much. Like as soon as you tap into that, that's where the gold's at. So when I say digital journal, digital diary, it's like it's getting real, and it's gonna get even more like personal and intense. But I think that's the good stuff. And even how you have your podcast, like let's peel back the layers and be
Yeah.
really honest and be really
Yes.
real with ourselves. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love what you do too, because you get it. Like you could tell through the screen. You're like, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do naturally. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I love that.
I've always been the friend to like tell it like it is. Honestly, I don't even like being that friend anymore. So I'm just like, let me just get on the podcast.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
don't want to, it's like some people might ask for your opinions, but they don't really want them. So it's like, I'm just going to create this space where I could just be myself and be raw and authentic. And if you want to hear it,
Period.
you could tune in. If not,
100%.
Yeah. So, okay. Ooh, all right. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of things, but mainly moving. Okay. So Nichelle is Jersey. Were you born in Jersey?
So I was born in the Bronx in New York. Most of my family's from the Bronx. And then we moved to Jersey when I was young, like 3, 4. So I always say like I'm from Jersey. I'm not one of those people that was like born in the Bronx. And then when I moved at 1, I'm like, yeah, I'm still like, but I still have that, influence. But yeah, I was raised in Jersey, and then I decided to move. 2021, I moved to Texas, Austin to be exact. And that was so interesting.
What made you want to go to Texas specifically?
Yeah. So, funny enough, I'm someone that if I feel it's time to make a shift, I will just do it. So, I didn't have a job. I didn't have like something to look forward to out there. Really, and funny enough, let me just peel it back a little bit, right? So, grew up in Jersey, went to college in Jersey, was like living at my parents' house after college, like working, doing the whole 9, like did the whole thing. I've been in Jersey for all my life, right? I look up and I'm like, what am I actually doing? I need to leave. So I knew that I didn't want to go too far west, but I still wanted to have a different experience. Around the holiday season of, let's say, 2020, again, the pandemic, like all these things are happening. So I'm already like a little stir crazy. I was modeling. I had a modeling gig, and the person, they were like, we need people for our fashion boutique. We'll fly you out for a day out here in Austin. This is where the shoot's gonna be. I'm like, bet. Like, all right, sign me up. So I get me a free little trip to Austin.
Period.
I'm like, you're cute. I get there, and I think that night that we finished filming or whatever, their friend kind of showed us around the town or whatever. I'm like, this is so cute. It's like mom and pop shop, and it's like slower, but everyone's so nice, and everyone just felt so liberal and free. I'm like, this is Texas, like, like you don't know what you don't know. I got back to the hotel room. I looked at my friend who was like shooting with me, and I was like, I'm gonna move here. And she was like, yeah, like that'd be so fun. I'm like, no, I'm dead ass. Like I'm moving here. And so I remember when I went back home, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Austin. I'm probably gonna go to Austin either this year or next year, and that's just what it was.
Period.
Yeah.
First of all, can I ask you, what's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
Pisces sun, Libra. So Libra rising, Libra moon.
That's interesting. Wow. Oh my God. First of all, I love Libras.
Yeah.
I've always dated them.
Period.
I don't know, but my Venus is in Libra. But that's so interesting because like Pisces, they are like mutable. So like they can kind of like move around and like get comfortable in different places. But yeah, like for you to just make that decision to just be like, I'm out, like I'm leaving. Like, was there any fear?
So yes and no, mostly no. Mainly because, like I said before, like when I feel like it's something that's supposed to happen, I'll take that leap of faith. Like I've always been like that. Like security means so much to me, but once I feel like I'm on solid ground and I'm safe enough, like my relationship with God and my spirituality runs deep, and it's been strengthened through and through. I'm like, I'm okay. I'll never like. It might sound terrible, but I'm like, I know that I got a house here in Jersey. I know that at the end of the day, if everything goes, to shit, then it's fine and I'll be okay. And then funny enough, that same year that I was planning on moving, I had gotten into a relationship. And he was like, listen, if you move, I don't mind moving either. Let's go. Yeah. I'm like, all right, bet. So that was a little extra bit of confidence there. But then I also was blessed with the opportunity to work remote. So I was working remotely for that year of the pandemic, and then coming into that next year. So by that time I was kind of like, there's no reason to stay. Yeah. I'm actually as flexible as I'm probably gonna be. So let's do it now. So but yeah, of course, like you go somewhere new and you're like, am I gonna like miss my family and I'm gonna my friends and
Yeah.
But
did you have any like loneliness, lonely period, homesick?
I think so. Yeah, like in the beginning, not so much. When I first left, it was like super dramatic. Like both of our families were like, "Oh my god!" Like we had a whole party. It was like a whole thing. My dad couldn't even see me off. He was just like, "All right, Shell, like just call me when you get there." I'm like, "All right, bet." He couldn't even see me. My mom was like, "All right, sweetie." You know, everyone's all like emotional and whatnot. But once I got to Austin, it wasn't.
Oh my god, y'all. So I just bought a brand new pair of professional dance heels from Burju Shoes, and I am completely obsessed. These are not only fashionable, but they're completely, absolutely comfortable. They're so lightweight, they fit my foot like a glove, and my feet are just completely happy. Versus when I first started taking heels classes and teaching heels classes, I was just picking up random heels from department stores and they were killing my feet. My feet would be swollen, I would have blisters, they would scuff up the floor at the dance studio. So I'm so happy that I came across Burju shoes. These are without a doubt the best heels in the industry, and a few celebrities including Chloe Bailey, J-Lo, and Megan Thee Stallion have been spotted wearing these during their big performances, so you know they're good. You absolutely need to invest in yourself this year and stop wasting your money on shoes that will only last you a week, girl, okay? If you're looking to level up and get into your heels bag and, just build your confidence, you're gonna need the right shoes. So these shoes will completely level up your dancing and help build your confidence because you're not worried about how your feet feel. Me and my clients have been wearing Burju shoes for a few years, and I'm honestly never gonna switch back. Like, I would never switch back to a department store heel, okay, honey? These shoes are lightweight, stylish, durable, and they come in a variety of different heel heights and styles for every different type of dance. The service is incredible, and if you need to exchange a size, they'll quickly help you do that. I do recommend ordering one full size up since these shoes are meant to hug your foot. So check out the amazing selection at burjushoes.com. Use my discount code RISFITKitty. That's RISSFITKITTY to save some cash on your next purchase. And let's get to dancing.
I didn't feel any like homesickness at all, to be honest. And also like going away to college, having that experience helped. But I think maybe a few months in, once life in Austin started settling in, it was kind of like,
oh shit, I actually did this.
I had a moment in time, like a thick chunk of the year, that first year where I felt like I was super stagnant, but I had to realize like I was regrounding in a new place, But I did have a moment where I was kind of like, I don't have a routine. I don't have my dance classes. I don't have this. I don't have that. I kind of just want to work and just be on the couch and just binge watch TV. And you blink and it'd be 4 months later and you're like, oh my God, like, what am I doing here? Then you start thinking, what am I doing here? So yeah, for me, it was like, I'm fine. And then it was like, I'm not fine for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, let me find a dance studio and let me start building my life here. And then once I started doing those things, it was all copacetic. But yeah, so it was like a little bit of a roller coaster in the beginning. But
I love that. Yeah. For anyone who's thinking about leaving their hometown or taking a leap to move somewhere that might be like far, like what would you say to them if they're like, I don't know, like mostly I feel like the reason most people don't leave is like comfortability, just not knowing, right? Like that unknown, like being afraid of the unknown, or trying to please other people, like whether that's your parents or your friends, or it could be your partner, right?
Yeah.
Like luckily you had a partner that was like, let's go. But not everybody has that. You might have someone like, if you're leaving, well,
it's the end of the road.
Yeah.
No, good question and good things to put out there. I think for me, I'm the type of person who kind of thrives in the unknown. I like when things get a little gray and I don't know what's going to happen next. I kind of love that. I don't know. But what I will say is, if you're thinking about leaving your hometown, your home state, whatever that may be, first thing, I'm big with security, and security looks different for everybody, right? So for me, it was like, I need to make sure I have consistent income coming in. If I have consistent income coming in, I can make anything shake, like that's my thing, For some other people, it might be like, if I know people there, I'm going to be fine no matter what, like whatever your anchor of security is, make sure you know what that is and make sure you strengthen that. Make sure you have confidence in that, right? So have that piece of security. Maybe it is the relationship. Is that person willing to come with you or not, right? Like, you have to weigh your priorities, weigh the odds of what it means to be secure. So for me, I can move somewhere without knowing anybody, but if I have consistent income coming in, I'm comfortable and I will take that leap because we have one life to live, babe. Like,
Period.
I can't wait for the folks. So yeah, that's me. That's one. The second thing too is, from a reformed people pleaser, you have to think about yourself in third person. Okay, you have to think about yourself as though there's a version of you waiting at the destination that you keep fantasizing about. So, like, I'll use myself as an example. There was a Nichelle in Austin who had a totally different track, right, lined up for her. But if I cared too much about maintaining whatever it was that I was maintaining here in Jersey, she would just be sitting there waiting for me, and just that mental awareness to say, there's a track over there that I'm never going to experience because I have to appease the prototype that is in these people's lives. Like, they'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you have to literally give yourself permission to shake the table for everybody around you and see where the pieces fall. You know what I mean? Like, you owe it to yourself. So that's one thing when it comes to the people pleasing aspect of it. It takes practice. Sometimes you first have to start by saying, no, I won't go to dinner with the rest of you. I'm gonna be home reading my book. Like, sometimes it's little stuff that you have to do to build up to that. So there's that. But if you're thinking about moving, it's because there's a version of you that moved. It's not just a random thought that somebody makes on a random Thursday and it doesn't matter and it doesn't mean anything. It's something that is actually possible and you should probably look more into. I knew for a fact, for example, I was not interested in going to college outside of Jersey. Like, I really wanted to stay in Jersey, stay close to my family. Once I did that experience and I graduated and I was in my family house, I was like, pandemic hit, I was like, oh no, I'm bigger than just staying in one state. Like, I'm not a hometown kind of person. There's people like that out there, but I'm just not that girl. Like, I was like, stop, like, you gotta go. Like,
yes.
Just even if it's for 1 year. I kept saying that. Even if it's just for 1 year, and I'm gonna come back. People are like, you're not coming back. I'm like, I'm gonna come back. Yeah, I'm just like, 1 year. I just gonna have to experience it. You know, a story to tell my grandkids. Like, even if you have to like gaslight yourself like that.
Yes.
I'll give myself 2 years out there and just see what happens. You hear people say that about LA all the time, or like these different things. Like, I gave myself 1 year and 6 months, and on the 6th month, it really hit. Like, so yeah, almost talk yourself into it. Make sure that your version of whatever secure means is locked and loaded. And if you're afraid of upsetting people, then you have to give yourself the permission to do so. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Sometimes the blessing is in removing yourself. Because if you sit there and try to play God and act like they need you, whoever these they people are, and you try to act like they need you, you're just going to stunt their growth and you're going to block your blessing. Ooh. Stretch, go, grow, fly.
Ooh, stop right now. Like, so many gems. Wow. It's true.
Yeah.
It's so, and everyone will be fine. Everyone will figure it the F out.
Like, who do you think you are? Like, everyone will literally be fine. Like, please,
Yeah.
There's special circumstances, right? Be smart. But you can't let folk just, well, what you gonna do? Really? Well, who? You don't even know nobody. Ooh, that's how the enemy talk. Like, all right, you know what I mean? You better get up out of that.
Girl. And I like what you said about, like, not being a hometown girl. And this is not to offend anybody who's watching this who like is still in their hometown or has no plans on leaving. Like, that's fine. I think everybody's path is different and everybody is meant to do different things in their life.
Everyone can't do the same thing. Everyone's supposed to be different.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that you do know, like, I've always known since I was a child that I needed to live in a certain place. You know, sometimes you just know. You have that knowing. And I feel like sometimes we're just born in places that our parents had us, you know? So it's like, why not take that leap? Like you said, and it could just be a year. It could just be 2 years. It could just be whatever. But it's like, if you never try, like, you will never know and you'll have that regret.
That's a fact. And I think my biggest fear in life was always I don't know what it is about this age. You'll probably hear me say this like time and time again on the internet, but I'm like, my biggest fear was always being 81, looking back and being like, damn, I really should have tried to just live somewhere else. I really didn't go nowhere. You know what I mean? There's people that got a nickel and a dream and they be just going for it. And I had this much saved up, all of this feeling about it. I just stood there. Oh my God. My biggest fear has been like, so you ain't even try? You always wanted to knit that sweater and you ain't never even bought the needle for it. Like, imagine being 81 and being like, you never learned to drive. You've always wanted to, but hello? Like, we need to start shifting stuff. Start doing something different. Try stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So, yeah, that was my biggest thing. I never want to, like, that's my biggest fear. Being 81, looking back and going, what if? Oh, heck no.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people are freaking depressed.
Hello?
Like, because they're not living out the life that they're truly meant to live. Like, as someone who is spiritual, and I feel like everyone has a different relationship with God or different beliefs, but I really believe that we have our path already set out for us in a way. You know, like we already know who we're supposed to be, but if you're not tapping into that and you're not listening to your desires, your truth, you're not speaking your truth, you're not doing things that your soul actually wants to do, you're going to be depressed.
Yeah, 100%.
And unhappy.
100%. I think, like I mentioned before, when I first got to Austin, it was fine. It was cool. I was excited. It was still that good energy, like rose-colored glasses. And then once things settled in, I said, "Oh, I have to be proactive about building a life here now." Okay, like, you know, but physically, like sometimes you could have an intellectual knowing of something, but if it's like not baked in your body, you will literally like waste away and like vegetate and not move a muscle. And those kind of like depressive episodes of like, especially when you know, but you can't click it on. Oh my gosh. Literally, you have to get out of your own way and like start building the life that you want to see for yourself. And a lot of the times too, it's like, just because you can see a destination or you can see like the big picture, you have to also make room for allowing God to work, because you're doing this with you're co-creating your life. Give God something to work with, right? Like you're co-creating with, you know, the universe. Like allow yourself to meet something halfway. You know, there's people that's waiting for you in San Francisco. You know, there's somebody waiting for you in Chicago. They're like, oh, we just want that person, but we just haven't come across them. And, you know, like allow the magic of the world to happen for you. And I feel like that's something that, especially after the pandemic, it was like a huge like shift. A huge shift.
Yeah.
Like the Nichelle before that and the Nichelle now is just so like, I'm like the woman of my dreams right now. It's so bizarre. And I'm not even aware. I don't even know what I thought about when I was younger, like what that looks like, but I know what I was gonna wear, and my hair was like this and that and that. And I would just think about all these things, and I'm like, but the Nichelle then moving to Texas, like what? Like that'd be so, traveling the way that I do, like just the way that I am online, like that would have been way too much. That felt way too expansive. And you know, when you just keep trying and you nudge and you keep chipping at it and you just keep jumping off of a little hill and now you're jumping off of like full blown things, you're like, all right.
It's true.
It's different now. Yeah. Now it's up.
Girl, I saw like a meme the other day that was like, the jump from 2019 to 2024 has been crazy. Like I live like 3 different lives. Do you feel that way?
100%. 100%. I feel like 2019, like whenever it's like, it's supposed to be 2025. Like, huh? What? I look at pictures from like 2019, 2020, and I'm like, I was so confused. I was so unhappy, but I was trying to like do things that I know I'm good at, but it kind of wasn't really sticking. And I just wasn't really comfy, and the environment that I was in wasn't really like inspiring me. And like, it was all these things. And I was like, and then you blink and you are here, and I'm like on your podcast right now. Like, this is so cool, right? This is so cool. Like, just yeah, like
and the importance of what you said of your environment and your surroundings needing to inspire you. That's so freaking important.
Yeah.
That's so important. And I think a lot of us allow ourselves to kind of like ignore that, you know, like we're feeling like stagnant in a job, stagnant wherever we are, like we're just comfortable, just going day by day, just well, I guess I'm just gonna do the same shit today.
That's
like
so depressing.
It is. It is.
That Groundhog's Day of it all. I know a lot of people who are stuck in that. And I think also there's like layers to it, right? And it's like, first you have to be, and you talk about this too, you have to be so grateful for everything that you have right now and start to find the beauty in the things. Like, even on my drive here, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like a whole bunch of birds that just like flew out. I was like, ew. Like, you know, you have to like really like glamorize everything around you, honey. Like, let it sparkle for you. But I truly believe that people get wrapped up in, my wildest dream would never come true. And it's almost like this point A to point B, or point A to point Z. And it's like, but you didn't even get to the elemental P. Like, that was going to be a really fun time. And like, you didn't even get to really experience like HI. Like, that would have been really cool. Like, you didn't even get, like, if you could have just, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I always tell people, it's like, you're like the Wizard of Oz child. Like, you easing on down.
Yeah.
And you going here and going there, and you have all these experiences, and like, that's the fun stuff. And the more you experience the in between, and the more you experience those scary moments, the more you're like, shit, I'm gonna write a book. Like, I don't know. Like, the more you want to try new things. So I feel like that's something I really, really want people to understand, is like, on the other side of that fear, and I think Will Smith talks about it a lot too. He's like, on the other side of that fear, you're gonna be like, what? And it's almost gonna be normalized to you too, like where you're at now. Like, now I saw Marissa, she's over here like setting up the stuff that I'm like, it's all normal now. Like, that is so cute. But I know that at some certain point it was kind of like
stress.
Right, it's this and that. You know what I mean? It was like a whole different energy around it. Now it's like a part of your routine, a part of your habits. Like, let it be a part of your habits. Let it be something that you feel like you can actually get to and do. Like, I still have those visions of my ultimate goal, but I'm present as much as possible with my gratitude.
You have
as
to
much
be.
as much as possible. So
yeah.
I don't know what the original question was, but I feel like
Girl,
what I just said was, really nice.
We're just flowing. We're just flowing.
And when it comes to moving too, I think one thing I will say is, like, you will become a new person. And it's not something you have to try to do unless you don't do anything at all. But you will become a new person, like meeting new people, going to new environments, being in a different location literally will just change your body. Like, even my sensitivity to the cold now is a little different, right? Like, your DNA changes, you're changing on different levels. So I was telling you before, like, even coming back home, it's almost a little nostalgic. It's like a little like, I used to go to this bagel shop. Like, I don't know. It's like so strange. Like, before it would be like, I'm home. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, it's like a Hallmark card. Like a little movie or something. So yeah, you will definitely change, and it'll be great. And you'll be grateful that you took that leap, for sure.
Change is necessary. And a lot of people, including myself at some point, have been afraid of change, because it is like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. So it's like, especially if you're someone who likes control and you need to control everything, it's like, I can't let go of this because I don't know, I might fall on my ass. But it's also like, part of the process of like growing and changing and evolving is going through the lessons, falling on your face, getting your heart broken. Like, all of those things are a part of life. But I think our generation specifically, it's like everyone wants instant gratification.
Yes.
Everyone wants things right now. I need to be making 7 figures tomorrow. Right. I need to be on a yacht tomorrow. I need to have my dream job tomorrow. And it's like, what about the steps?
Yeah.
Where are the steps?
Yeah. And I think a lot of times too, that when you do push through certain milestones, or you'll see, or you perceive people pushing through like the biggest milestone ever, it looks like an overnight situation. And you always have to remember like the building blocks, like the blocks that we're literally doing right now, like the in between. It's like there was a whole lot there,
Are you tired of stressing over meal prep, grocery shopping, and figuring out what to cook every single night? I know I am, child, okay? I am not trying to be slaving over the kitchen stove and worrying about washing dishes every single night. It's too much. Running a business is enough for me, honey. So allow me to introduce you to Cook Unity, your personal chef at your fingertips. Cook Unity delivers chef-crafted meals straight to your door, made with high-quality, fresh ingredients. Whether you're craving a hearty pasta, a healthy grain bowl, or something gourmet, there's something for every palate. These recipes are authentic, full of flavor, and created by local chefs who love food just as much as you do. As someone who's always on the go, whether it's teaching fitness classes, choreographing routines, or spending quality time with my friends or my pup, I love how Cook Unity saves me time without sacrificing flavor or nutrition. Plus, I get to try dishes from top chefs that I wouldn't normally have access to. So I can literally switch it up from Chinese to Mexican to Italian to Caribbean. I love it. I love it. I love it. No more takeout guilt, no more boring leftovers, just real delicious meals made just for you. So if you're ready to elevate your weeknight dinners, then head on over to cookunity.com and use my code MARTONG00 to get $60 off your first order. I will put that in the show notes for you so you can get easy access and take you right to the website. Okay, so don't forget, put your order in right now, okay, because they need to know what you're ordering. So even if you don't have the time to put your order in, they will go based off your preferences and your first questionnaire when you go to the website, and you can set up literally like your dietary needs, if you have any allergies, anything like that. So go right now, okay? Cook Unity. This is where convenience meets culinary creativity.
You also jogged something in me too, where instant gratification, but also, I don't know if anyone else is like me, where it's like, I love the freshness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have like a new crush, or like you have like a new project, like everything is like blank slate. Like, you know, like I'm someone who's like, can I just start over? Like it just become something different, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's great. But it's also something to be said about consistency. Like, you've been very, very consistent. And I want to let you know, like, I definitely have recognized that in you. I'm like,
thank you.
You won't stop. She just don't stop. Like, I just love that.
You.
Like, it's something about having enough tenacity and knowing, like, what there's no other option but up. Like, that's the energy. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to do this because, like you said, because I'm going to get this much money. And then I've never been that strategic as far as like the money can make me do something forever. You gotta feel it, and when you feel it, that consistency becomes like a no-brainer almost. You know what I mean? So I want to say, like, that's a big thing that I see in you, and I think that's huge. Yes, freshness, newness is really nice. Getting somewhere fast is something that people want to do innately, but the beauty, the good stuff, like the thing you write your book about, the thing you taught, you know, you birth full-blown generations from, is all of the in-between. Like, open your eyes and be present, like be as present as possible and be consistent. Even being on TikTok, like really being able to growing my platform on Instagram now, like really like doubling down on it. I'm like, it's different now because I have different purpose. Like, my consistency is going to look different. I'm going to feel different coming through the screen. I'm so excited about that. Like, thank you, Lord, for giving me this energy. I know what it feels like to not have it. Yeah. I'm just grateful for that. You know what I mean?
And like, you see the results, right? Like small little results every day, whether that's like, oh, I got 2 new followers today, or I got 100 or whatever, you know?
Download.
Yeah. Like, you celebrate those small wins, and like, you have to, like, that's going to keep you going.
You said something there. So when I was launching Wishful Thinking, my friend, she was like, oh my God, we have to get like dinner. Like, we have to, I'm like, yeah, we do, don't we? I'm like, hey, let's make this a thing. I've been saying that a lot too. It's like, you have to make everything a thing. And I almost don't even realize how I normalize the things in my life. I'm like, oh yeah, I just came back from, you know, Abu Dhabi, child. Like,
were you? You were just
I was in Playa del Carmen in Mexico.
Ooh.
But yeah, I've been traveling a lot where I've like achieved something, or like a brand will reach out that I'm like, oh my God, I always wanted to work with them, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's like, it becomes normal really quickly. And I just go into like, what do I have to do mode?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you have to celebrate it, because if you don't, it just washes over. And this is something that there was a version of you that was like, will it ever happen for me? And it's like clicking, and you're not even like clapping for yourself. So yeah, that's something. Journaling.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
My gratitude journal.
Yeah. That's power of writing it down.
I have to write all of the things down. I'm like, today this happened and I'm so happy about it, you know?
Yes.
So it definitely helps.
Do you listen to Balanced Black Girl podcast?
Yes, I do.
She talks about like best case scenario journaling.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
I did see, I think it was a clip. I don't know when it was recent, but she posted it and it was on TikTok, and I came across that. I think that's so smart.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
You're basically planning out your future, essentially. Like, you're writing, okay, well, best case scenario, I get the job. Or best case scenario, I make this shit happen. You know, like whatever it is that you want, you have to write it down. You have to see it for yourself. You have to plan it out for yourself. And you would ask me too, like before we started, like, have you been talking to people about, you know, things that you want to do? And I'm like, not really, like kind of. But that's just me, like my own woo-woo mind. I do feel like sometimes people can bring their negative energy when you are trying to manifest things. So that's why I just don't.
I agree with that, but then also on the other side of it, because I resonate with how you function a little bit more, like I like to like we said, I like things to be done or in motion. The ink is dry before I'm chatting about it, because I definitely know that I need a specific amount of energy around something, and I don't, even if it's not like bad energy, it could be good energy. I don't want that dopamine hit prematurely.
Yeah.
It slows something down about the flow of the process. And when you're so creative and so intuitive and you move with such like intention, like there's no computer generated thing around it. It's like, no, this is like a thing that's gonna be really good and da 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 da. Like that friend that was like, we have to go to dinner, she didn't know about Nichelle thinking until I was like promoting it like the weekend before. She's like, oh, I didn't know. I was like,
yeah,
you know, it's like in my room, like just writing stuff down, like thinking, like I don't want anyone's opinion. I don't want it to be tainted with anything that's. I just want the whole situation to be Nichelle. And if I need something, I'm practicing asking for stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't want it to be a norm. It's like you don't almost want it to be a norm for folks to be a part of. How do I say this? It's like a twofold, because like I definitely feel like I'm self-made and community made.
Yes.
Both.
Yes.
So while I'm making the things myself, the community part, you'll know when
the time is right.
Yeah, like when the time is right. So I don't think anything is wrong with that. And then to your point, you got to be careful.
You do.
You want to move, you want to go to Colorado, and you talking to Aunt Janine, who ain't never been nowhere off her block.
That's miserable in a marriage.
Aunt Janine gonna
not happy. I'm sorry.
Not the profile chat.
Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
But like that's not gonna be the one that's gonna help propel you. If anything, it's gonna just like, it's gonna shave off the good stuff. You know what I mean? Now you're like moving with energy that's not positive. Yeah, no.
Or you find the people who have already done the things that you want to do, right? For instance, like I love reading autobiographies or, you know, stories about people's come up, like Viola freaking Davis.
Yeah.
I have to read her book, but I saw her like her interview with Oprah.
Kiki's been promoting her book, The Master of Me or Mastering Me or something like that. And literally, to your point, like the people who have done it write about it, and they talk about how they've been able to balance themselves and be able to like envision upward while they like build what they need to be that person. And like I love that. I've been starting to read more. I keep calling everything self-help, but I've been reading more like people speaking about their lives. Viola, I know Michelle Obama, like everyone has that moment where they're like,
yes.
It's like a formula almost, but it's like you have to feel it internally and really like embody that version. But sorry to cut you off. I was just
you're fine.
Because I saw Kiki going around like talking about it so much. She was looking great.
I need girl.
She always look good, but
you see
Kiki
what
has ascended,
you
honey.
Leave, you know, trash. You leave the trash behind. You glow up.
Ooh.
You heard that?
Yeah. Sucking in her energy.
But yeah, like I love seeing a Cinderella rags to riches type of story. And even if it's not like money isn't everything.
Right.
But if it's just like you just going after your dream, just like doing something that you always wanted to do and literally like facing the worst like Viola Davis had freaking rats crawling on her damn face. Are you kidding me?
That's so wild to think about. Yeah.
Like, what? So when we think that we have it so hard or we have like the biggest challenges or roadblocks, it's like, do you have rats on your face though?
Right.
Do you?
Like literally, okay. So I still talk about this on my podcast too, where it's like there's a motivation that goes, at least I have water, shelter, food, air. I can see on my own. I can breathe on my own. Like, thank God for that. But then there's also a motivation that I've been tapping into more recently where it's like, I can create that. And I did that, and I can do more, and I can expand more, right? It's like versus the at least I don't have, or at least I have. It's like I have the power to make this move and make this shake, and like I'm gonna just go outside. For the people that are similar to me, where it's like I just want to be my own little cocoon and like just like let me be like away from everything and hermit crab, and then like I'll pop out for like 4 minutes and then like I'm back to my own cocoon. Like to be consistent and be seen and like to be out there and to hear these stories and try to adopt it to your own life. Like it really takes you looking upward and being like, I do work out. Wow, I go to the gym now. There was a version of me who didn't go to the gym, and I really, really, really wanted to be a person that goes to the gym, and I'm literally that person now. How great is that? Versus at least, I got places to go and walk to, and I have water. It's like, yes, we all want those basic needs, but there comes a point where now you're like building on top of yourself. I think Moneybagg Yo, he got a song called Me Versus Me. Me versus me. It starts to get real me versus me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you start seeing what you can do.
Yeah.
And now the battles is like consistently getting out of your own way. Isn't that something?
Always. I like, you posted something. Maybe it was in your, I don't remember. I saw you post something about like consuming less and like creating more.
Yeah.
Like, when did that click for you?
Yeah. So I'm like more active on Threads. I think we all are, right? Because the other platform is like scary. But yeah, I posted that where it's like reminder to self, I need to consume less and create more. One thing that I will say is like God wants us to consume. He does. He wants us to take in what his other creations are creating as well.
And be inspired.
Right. Like that's how this whole circular thing goes. But when you are stuffed up, you're full on the consumption, and you're not able to really digest what's for you, you're not able to really, for lack of a better saying, dispel what's not for you and like let the nutrients of what is for you kind of really seep in. You have to get some stuff out, is my point, right? It's like you have to create. Like when you don't create, you become stuffed up. I'll put it like that. When you don't create, you don't practice what clicks for you, what's right for you. My own personal style, the way I talk, the way I walk, the classes I like to take, the type of dance classes I like to take, the genre of music I listen to now, like all of those things takes me consuming and then also creating playlists, creating a wardrobe that I go into, I'm not anxious about, creating a beanie with a type of thread that I like and now I know that I like it, or creating a podcast and like type of conversations I used to make, but now I like this a little bit more. And now I listen to different types of podcasts because I want to make sure I'm feeding myself a certain way so that I can create more. Like it's this cycle that needs to happen in order for you to flow freely through this life. And at that point I was like, I'm very clear on the fact that I'm consuming too much. I'm getting too stuffed up. I'm getting a little full. I'm like, okay, it's time to create. Like you have to, that was my big thing. It's like being conscious of like, when it's cool for you to consume, when you're like, I'm gonna just consume a whole lot. Let me watch this movie and get inspired and whatever. And then when it's time to pop out and put your stuff out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it helps you create like your uniqueness and who you are. And like, I used to walk into rooms and people would be like, oh, who are you? What do you do? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. Like, what do you see?
What do you see?
Literally, like, looking for people to tell me, like, what to do and who I am and da-da-da-da. And thinking, like, oh, yeah, no, I just don't want to be, like, a bother or not perceived too much. And then once you practice consuming, creating, putting yourself out there, consuming, creating, hermit crabbing, resting, coming back, consuming, creating, you know, once you practice that flow, now it's, hi, my name is Nichelle, Ohshells on all social media, do this, that, you know, now you got there's a confidence behind it because you've been practicing. So that's where that stemmed from. I was like, I'm stuffed up.
Yeah.
But it's also like every living being creates. What does your fruit look like? You know what I mean?
Facts.
And what your fruit looks like will definitely be a marriage between what you're consuming, but also your capacity to get out of your own way. That's really what it is.
Isn't out of your own way. I love that. It's so true. We're the only ones holding ourselves back. It's nobody else. It's nobody else. We like to blame, but
I came into this world painfully shy and like very task oriented, like very like, okay, like plie here, okay. Well, like I'm very like scared to make a move without someone telling me it was the right move. And like on the other side of that is like a butterfly. I'm like,
It's
hello.
you.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the you.
Yeah.
I strongly believe everyone comes into this life, and you mentioned it too. Like, you were born where your parents had you, but everyone comes into this life almost with their fate intact. And then the real journey is you like tapping into your destiny. And some people never get out of their own way to do that. You know, I was supposed to be born in Jersey here on the East Coast because I'm supposed to probably make my way over to Texas and then who fucking knows where. But if I didn't start in Jersey, I wouldn't have had the trials and tribulations to get me to where I am right now. So I'm super excited for the next level. But it's like, I'm happy with where I'm like,
Yeah.
the lights, the mic. I'm like, yeah. I'm hella happy right where I'm at too. So it's lit.
I love that.
Yeah.
And being your authentic self, like that is huge. Being yourself. And I think that takes a while. Like I think, you know, your 20s is a very like pivotal time to learn about yourself and go through those, you know, trials and tribulations. And yeah, you are going to have influence, you know, from other people. And I think too, like still with the internet, like you said, like consuming, if you are over consuming, like you are more likely to pick up on other people's, you know, personalities and what they're saying. And that's why we see so many like copycat type, you know, creators all over the internet. But it's like, who are you at the core? Like, what do you actually bring to the table? What do you want to talk about? Who are you? So I think that's important. Just like spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, saying no to things that you don't freaking like. Saying no to people that you don't freaking like. Like my therapist straight up told me, like, it's okay if you don't like someone in your family. That's okay.
Yeah. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was like, oh, we was just talking about, I was like, oh, like, you know, weddings and like, you know, just starting to have those kind of like cutesy conversations. She was like, yeah, girl, like, how you think of a big wedding and small? What do you think you want to have? I ain't in no relationship, child. That's some tea for the people out there.
Mood.
But, you know, just having fun combos. And she brought up a family member, and I was like, I wouldn't bring them. I wouldn't invite them. She was like, what? Like, I was like, she was so like shocked, and she was like, tell me more. I'm like, it's just bad vibes, dude. Like, I just, no.
Yeah.
You know, and it felt kind of empowering to be like, I don't do that, and I don't mess with that. And I mean it. And I'm definitely one of those people, though. It's like, once I know it's a dub, like, it's a strong dub. And folks be gasping left and right. Like, I be dead serious.
And it's our generation, too. It's like, we're not with the same shits that our parents were. Like, just people pleasing and doing the same thing because you know you have to show up and it's your family and respect your elders. Like, nope.
I'm not doing that. I definitely have a traditional gear where I'm very like, you know, I like to present a certain way. And I'm not just like any old thing. But at the core of me, like, I just care about myself the most.
Who
it's
else
different now.
Are you gonna care about?
Yeah, I care about myself the most. And I always say, like, it's not being selfish, but it's being self-full.
Yes.
And I think, like, it's okay. Like, I've given myself permission to say, I just don't like that for Nichelle. And so I'm just not gonna indulge in that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll never hear from me ever again. Toodles. Like, I just don't.
And that's okay. And anyone who doesn't like you, like, they are not for you. If you cannot respect my boundaries and what I want for myself, like, you don't need to be part of what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
Yes. And back to what I was saying before, being like a corporate HR recruiter girly, I'm always talking about offboarding and onboarding. Like, what? Sometimes you need to make room. This was for Act 1. And you are in Act 2, and you still have remnants and stage design and costumes from Act 1. Remove some stuff. Like, give it some room. Like, what are you offboarding? And what are the type of energies that you no longer resonate with? Because that's the thing. There was a version of me who liked to be like wild, crazy. I'm like, let's party. Now I'm like, child, I want my tea.
Yes.
I want to go to a coffee shop.
Yes.
I still like to, you know, do a little something. Right. But I'm just in a different place right now. So anything that doesn't resonate with that, why would I, you're taking up space. You know what I mean? And that's just a light example. But it's like, you need to offboard before you can onboard. Companies do it all the time. They have to let go of certain people before they can open up new jobs and put it out there on, you know, on the interweb. So yeah, it's like, really, before you can onboard anything, you need to know what you're offboarding, and you need to know what the new policies and the ground rules are. You know what I mean? Like, you need to know. Mm-hmm. You need to know. Mm-hmm. And it will shift and change. Like I said, I'm a Pisces. I'm shifting and changing as we speak. Okay, as we
Yes.
sit here
Yes.
right now, like I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very that, you know. So it gets a little dicey over here, but just be clear. Be clear when you have changed, and allow yourself to change. But
Yeah.
what about so and so? Because we've been cool since. What that mean? You got 14 people waiting to greet you with open arms that are creatives and that's about to expand your entire life. But then you can't come into contact with those people or that blessing or that thing because you never moved like you knew you were supposed to in your intuition. You never got rid of that group like you knew you needed to because you just needed to hang on to it. Like on the other side of that scary, like I don't know, is a lot of room for good stuff to come in. You have to exist in that. That's what I exist in.
Registration is now open for both of our retreats coming up in 2025. We are going back to Arizona. Yep, back to where it started, baby. We're heading to Sedona in Scottsdale for 4 nights, 5 days to heal, to meditate, to ground ourselves, to have a deeper connection with ourselves. This is going to be a completely transformative experience. Join us for the Phoenix Rising Retreat from March 13th to the 17th, 2025. This is going to be amazing. If you've been asking about our first domestic retreat of 2025, well, this is it. We literally just opened registration. So reserve your spot. It's going to be freaking amazing. You can find all of our details on our website. And don't forget the Goddess Retreat in Greece. We're heading to Mykonos and the beautiful hidden gem Andros for 7 days, 6 nights from May 7 to the 13th. This is going to be an amazing experience if you're looking to connect with your feminine energy, if you're looking to soften, if you're looking to heal, if you're looking to really have a deeper connection with women and community and nature, and to soak in all that Greek goddess energy. So if you're interested and you're looking to take some time for yourself and start 2025 by putting yourself first and prioritizing your mental health, your self-care, your spirituality, your connection with yourself, then I invite you to register for our retreat. The only thing that's required to book is a deposit, and then you can make monthly payment arrangements up until January and February for the retreats. So any questions, feel free to hit us up at Real Hot Retreats on Instagram. Take a look at our previous retreats, see if you're feeling out the vibes.
Ooh, so freaking good. Nichelle, this was such a fruitful conversation. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. This is our first time like sitting in person.
Isn't that
Like,
crazy?
yeah.
Like literally, thank you for having me. Honestly, like I've had such a good time. You know, yappers know yappers.
Yeah.
Like I was so down to do this, but I'm so excited because it's like we've been super cool on the interwebs, and then we have like mutuals and whatnot. But this is like our first face to face conversation. Yeah,
I knew it would be a vibe though. I only ask people to come on the show that I know I would vibe out with, who have like substance, you know, who can like talk about something. So thank you. Please tell the people where they can find you on socials.
Yes. So you can find me at Ohshells on all social media, Ohshells. That's on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube primarily. I'm also on Threads. And then you can also listen to Nishful Thinking, my podcast, again on Apple Pod and on Spotify. That's NICHFUL. And then thinking. So yeah, super excited for everything to come. I'm really excited for you and your podcast. Like this is really amazing. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you.
I feel like a sign off. I'm like, hello.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. And thank you guys for listening today. If you enjoyed this conversation, please make sure that you are following us on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know what your favorite part of this conversation is. If you're someone who's planning on moving, on taking a leap, 2025, let's go. Okay, yes. Now's the time. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast, please. That helps us out so much. It helps other people find the podcast, and it just helps us grow. In 2025, we're focused on growing and glowing, honey. All right. So thank you so much. Follow us on socials. Instagram will link all your details and socials in the show notes. Okay. And yes, we'll see you guys in another episode.
Bye.
Bye.